Greetings, my fellow chess comrades. Are you struggling with that early bishop g4 pin and you're looking for a way to punish your opponent for it? You've come to the right place. Never mind the fact that you're getting this advice from an 80 IQ hillbilly. You are getting this advice from an 80 IQ hillbilly who has seen this position more times than I am intellectually able to count to. So that should tell you something. I am currently, at the time of this particular video, 1828 on lichess. The opponent whose game I am going to reference that I played in this game that we are referencing is 1857. Granted, those are not master numbers, but they are not beginner numbers either. I would classify that as rather intermediate. So if you can get this against an 1857, you should be able to get this against anything lower than that. Now, granted, any video that you watch, and I'm sure you're well aware of this, it's not going to always play out the way you're, oh, I saw this video, memorize this line, it's going to happen like this every time. It's not going to happen like this every time. I've seen this position thousands of times, and I've probably got this particular 8-move mate that I'm about to show you probably 5 times. But the point of the matter is we are going to reference the very valuable lichess database and show you that how often and how common this can happen. So this should be of particular interest if you are a Kali Zukertor player or some other form of Queen's Pawn opening player where you play the early Pawn E3, Knight F3 that exposes your Queen to a pin with the Bishop G4 move by black. In this particular game, a lot of times you will see this happen very early on, as early as move 3. Let's go ahead and get this game started, and I will quit rambling. Pawn D4, followed by Pawn D5, Knight F3, which is standard for a lot of openings, I assume, particularly if you're a Queen's Pawn player. Knight C6. Then E3, which enables the Bishop G4 pin. Now let's just look at this. How common is this Bishop G4 pin for the third move of the game for the black pieces? Well, lichess database says it happens 24% of the time, or at over 3 million times. This is a very, very common move you're going to see. So at 1 in 4 times, if you look, this position right here, if you are well aware that you see this particular position a lot. So 1 in every 4 games, you will see Bishop G4. And you have to learn how to deal with it because black has a lot of very tricky options here to really put pressure on this tonight. That kind of becomes, however, that can also be their downfall as well. So if you look, here's the early Bishop G4. As a Kali Zukertor player who's played the Kali Zukertor for a very long time, I had to learn how to deal with this because as the database just instructed us or informed us, you see this so much, you have to learn how to deal with it. The way I deal with it, and there are other people who are going to tell you other ways, but the way I deal with it is to immediately play C4. Now here's the interesting thing right here. C4, the most common move here is E6. But you might, C4 isn't some, black pieces taking on C4 isn't super common. However, as you can tell by the lichess database here, it does happen at a rate of 15% of the time. And I would say that's probably about accurate, what I've noticed in my games. If I didn't have this database and you asked me, how often when you play C4, does your opponent just take with the D5 pawn? I would say maybe 10% of the time, 15% of the time. So I would say this is pretty accurate. And look, this is an overall summation of all games. This isn't just my game. So I'm telling you, I think 15% is a fairly accurate number. I actually really like it if I see the opponent take on C4. Opponent does take on C4 here. And at that, because the reason I do like it is for a number of reasons. Not because I'm going to instantly win the game or I'm going to instantly get a checkmate or anything like that. But it does open up some very aggressive opportunities. And not to mention, it gets my bishop out. So I get a free development, which I really like that. At the expense of winning back, I got a development. So now I'm kind of opening myself up to a developed piece. I think I kind of get a tempo a little bit with it. And then here comes the aggressive idea. Now, before you say anything, you're like, well, who would play, what's the most common move here? If you look in the lichess database at this position right here, and we are on move 5. We're on move 5. The most common move, as you can look for yourself, e6 at 30% of the time. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a mistake. That is a mistake, and 30% of the time, your opponent is going to play e6 with the hopes of pinning this knight. So they play e6, and then immediately right here, b3 is your move. You have to make b3, and then from here on out, black has to be extremely sharp. Extremely sharp. They have to know these lines. And there are a number of different ways you can get the black pieces in trouble. And look, I'm not going to lie, just like in any chess game, you could get in trouble here as well. You should probably learn this material, these lines as well. But what will happen a lot of times, so let's kind of look at this position. And just let's just say you're the black pieces. So if you're looking at this b3 move, and you're from the black piece, you think, okay, what is he establishing with this b3 move? Okay, well, he's pressurizing b7. It's kind of a poisonous pawn. I don't really care if he takes it all that much. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to take the knight here, because after he takes on b7, he can't even take back with the knight, and I have all kinds of discovered stuff, and not to mention I'm ruining his pawn structure, etc., etc., etc. So it's not a totally illogical idea. As a matter of fact, let's just look at the lichess database. The second most common move, and it's not by much, because the most common move with 2,450 plays is knight h6, which is a move I never see. I never ever see this move. I'm not even going to lie to you. I never see that move. Excuse me. Let me turn off this noise maker here. What I usually see is knight a5, and that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th most common move. But if you get into this position, the second most common move, and it's only by 40 moves, at 2,411 times in this position, the black pieces play bishop f3, which is what happened in this game, and it's mate in 2. It's made to. Look, in some of the top games that this has happened in, look at this. These are high rate of play. 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. All these are 2,000. Recent games. They don't have mine up there. I don't know why. But 1900, 1850. But look, lots of games in the 2000s that this has happened to. And this is just mate in 2, as you can see. And now, and let me show you one other quick line off of that. If they don't take here, probably the most common play I see here is this knight to a5. Now there's a very tricky line here. Again, look at the engine. The engine is, I'm plus 3.6. The white pieces are plus 3.6, 3.8 here. There's 2 different ways you can play this. I usually just like to break with the check. They have to either go back with the knight or defend here. Then you have this really, really nice bishop f7 sacrifice. Queen pretty much has to take. Again, it's just real nasty all the way around. Win the bishop. If the queen plays here, again, it just really kind of gets nasty. I mean, the white pieces are way ahead. Most likely this is probably even resignable. So, and again, like you can just get into all different kind of crazy lines here. If they just, if they take, it's game over. But usually what I see, again, is this and this is at my level, which is in the 1800s, is knight a5. You see that a lot. And if you see that, just remember this sacrifice here. You could probably even just go for it right here. What does the engine call for right here? For the, let me see what the engine calls for. Yeah, it looks like they, yeah, it looks like they call straight off for the bishop sacrifice, takes. Again, you can still get the same idea here. I mean, it's just a real nasty idea. So yeah, there you go. I hope this helps you in some way. I know I am not a very good instructor, nor should you probably reference me for improvement in your chess game. However, I do play this a lot. This is something that I see very, very frequently. I just got an 1857 player in an 8-move checkmate. So it does happen. You can see that it happens rather frequently if they take on c4. So I hope this helps you going forward in dealing with that very, very annoying bishop g4 pin that your opponents play against you if you're a fellow Kali Zukertort player. And with that being said, I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.